All right, so if I want to process another similar object through this workflow, what I can do is I'll hop back into ZBrush, and you can see we have this Houdini microscope looking thing. I also made a Houdini, what do I call it? The Houdini-nator. It's basically this big device that's plugged in, and it shoots a laser beam down onto this platform or something like that. Let's go ahead and turn on our colorize here so we get our polypane information. And if you watch the very first few videos in this series, we went about through the GoZ process, or if you want to, you can go through the Z plugin, FBX export, and you can just export this. Either way you want to go, it's going to be the exact same process. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say GoZ all. I should do GoZ visible to get rid of that star, but we'll use the pre-existing blast node and we'll just change some parameters on that. So if you go back over into Houdini, you can see it's going to import that new mesh, and if we go down here, it's going to be at the bottom for some reason. So we can go ahead and drag this back up to the top. And you can see this one has a star as well. If we just replace this object into our blast node here, it's going to replace that connection. So now this one is going to get blasted. So go ahead and check this one on. And instead of blasting this scope out, we can go ahead and delete that. And we'll just use, again, this little selector key. And we'll just say that star, hit enter. And then if we make that visible, that star is going to disappear. So in order to get this network to go ahead and cook through here, what I'm going to do is just go down here, select this simple baker, and then turn on visibility, and it will go ahead and cook all the way through with the exact same parameters, the exact same functionality as the previous mesh. And there we go. It took about 30 seconds, and it's going to look a little bit weird because we need to rebake these maps. So with the simple baker selected, just hit render. And that took about 45 seconds. So in a minute and 45 seconds, if we go back here to that quick material, we have a newly baked object here with that game res already done, already packed. If we hit spacebar 5, here's our UVs for that new object. And like I mentioned before, we in later videos we'll go over the Houdini digital asset process where you could wrap this up into a single node and expose parameters to external users, or even take that into a program like 3D Studio Max or Maya and use the Houdini engine in the background to do all this processing within another program. Anyway, I hope you like this process. I hope it was fun. I hope it was informative. I hope it wasn't too boring. And this is really just scratching the tip of the iceberg as far as node-based solutions for game development workflows and pipelines. And Houdini is constantly updating not just the game development tools, but also Houdini in general. There's always new versions of Houdini to download that have new improvements, new functionality, better, faster, stronger algorithms. So, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the series, go to Houdini, go to the downloads, grab Apprentice at the very least for free, give it a run. The indie license that I think is $269 for the whole year, $269 for the whole year. Or if you want to do commercial licensing, go check out Core or Effects. But as you can see, there's a ton of functionality that is packed into these nodes, and just maintaining a fairly linear workflow, we're able to get a lot of work done without having to resort to a bunch of painful, slow manual processes or a lot of late hours in order to accomplish it.